worst part of my transition and detransition, especially detransitioning, because it was a very traumatic experience for me. It take a lot of guts to get up here and tell y'all some of this stuff, some of these things that I'm gonna say in this video. Some of the reason why it took me so long to even share my story, because at the end of the day, who wanna have to come say these kind of things, and who wanna feel the embarrassment of knowing that they cause their self-harm and so much sadness on themselves from making a mistake. But hey, you get over it. So the worst part of my whole detransition and transition was actually the part that in 2005 I decided to get pumped with silicone to enhance my curves and give me a more feminine look, to be more passable and acceptable, whatever, as a woman. And that was a very, very, very crazy experience for me, being as though I had never really did anything like that. I was never really the type to even take an aspirin. I was always so natural and so just chilling or whatever. So this is how bad, and this is how, we change. People don't realize that as you grow up, you can definitely change. When I was a teenager, I did feel like transitioning was a thing that I wanted to do, and sometimes I even felt depressed at the thought of me not being able to, or whatever. So when I got the opportunity and I was just learning about it, I started jumping into these things, like getting pumped and all this stuff with silicone illegally and stuff, and not knowing any research on it, or not even caring or thinking about the damages that it could have caused right then and there or in the future. I just was ready to do what I needed to do to be passable and be who I felt I was. So there were a few different people who did the pumping, and some people would go for like who had the more, like, this is really how like messed up in the game I was, and how serious and focused and I was into my transition. Like, it was somebody in Philly, where I'm from, or whatever, that was doing it, who had the best grade of silicone and stuff like that, or whatever. But they gave you a little bit, and then there was somebody far out in Jersey who gave more, or whatever. So I ended up going to the one in Jersey, even though I knew that it was safer to go to the one in Philly. I went to the one in Jersey, or whatever, and let her do me, or whatever. I was already thick and had a nice shape, so it was more so of me filling in the hips and what they call boy pockets, or whatever. So I went there and I did it. I mean, I took thousands of dollars. Like, basically, I went like 3 or 4 times, each time taking $1,000. And she was real nice. She worked with me. She didn't take all my money or anything like that. Like, a couple of times, I didn't get the whole 1,000 in and stuff like that, or whatever. And just instantly, like, as soon as she pumps you, and what pumping is like literally you lay on your stomach on her table that was in her basement, and she pulls out a big thing of silicone or whatever, and she pumps it into you. And instantly you see your curves grow, and you just feel different and feel more confident instantly. So I did that, or whatever. I liked my results. I noticed by like 3 times I had a nice curve going on, you know what I'm saying? And it was regular. Everything was pretty fine, or whatever. That machine went off. I'm at work, y'all. Pretty regular, nothing out of the norm or anything. And let's fast forward up until, first of all, that day I had signs. Like, I had traveled on Amtrak to get all the way there. And I remember calling and calling. I was in Newark Penn Station for about 2 hours before she even answered, because she thought I was somebody else. That was a red flag. That was a sign right there. I should have turned right back around. And it's crazy, because like I say before, and I always say this again, I don't even regret my transition, because it made me who I am and stuff like that. But that's the one part that I wish that I had done differently, and that was one of the signs. So when I got there, you know what I mean, she was not even answering my calls, and then it took a long time. That I finally got through to her, got there. It was kind of a weird situation. It actually looked like she was going through a detransition herself, and she was just real sneaky and kind of, it was a weird vibe or whatever. Even though I liked her and she was a pretty nice person, but it was just something weird that was going on. I actually later found out that she was on the run, and that the story was that she killed her niece. She pumped her niece the same kind of way and went on the run. This is like the same year that I did this. I don't know if anybody out there heard of the pump lady in Newark back in the day or whatever. If you did, feel free to comment about that and tell me if my stories is correct. But yeah, I heard she killed her niece and went on the run. She was saying that she was going to stop doing it, and like I could tell something was up. But still, this is how so bad, how messed up in the head I was, how bad I wanted this, knowing a little bit that I did know about it, and knowing that there was going to be something that was going to be wrong and stuff, but not even thinking that far. Like just thinking like, all right, well, this is what I want to be now, and it's going to have me be this now. So I'm gonna take this instant gratification and not think about the future or anything. And I do remember later on down the line when I found out that she had killed her niece from pumping her niece with the same stuff that she was pumping me and my friends and stuff with. It's something that I could never forget. Like, and I had to walk around for years, even though I felt normal and felt regular. I had to walk around with this thought, knowing that I have something inside of my body that killed somebody else, and the person who put it is on the run. So mentally, that's something that I had to deal with for years. You know what I mean? So other than that, I was pretty much all right or whatever. And then after I realized that detransition was what I wanted to do, and I didn't want to live that way anymore, then I stopped taking my hormones or whatever. I got a whole video on that, but I stopped taking my hormones, and I saved up for all of my surgeries to have everything removed. I knew I had to start with the breast first because that was the most obvious part of it or whatever. So as I'm saving up and saving up, I'm saving up, I'm working out, I'm taking testosterone boosters over the counter. I never really had to take testosterone like prescribed from a doctor, because when I went to my doctor, they said that my testosterone levels was still pretty high for a man my age, which was shocking because I did take hormone therapy on and off for the last past 13, 14 years or whatever. So I'm doing all the things that I have to do for my detransition, and next thing you know, I started feeling this pain in my hips, and I'm feeling the pain in my hips, and it's just not going away, and it's just there. And me being the kind of person that I am, I didn't want to tell nobody like what I was going through, because it's like all everybody was going to think is like, you did this to yourself. Like, what could I say? I didn't want to talk to my family. I didn't want to talk to my friends, for real, for real. I didn't want to have to come to nobody and say this is what I'm dealing with. I did this to myself, you know what I mean? So I kept it in. I still would go out and vogue and still go out and dance and be happy, and nobody knew what I was going through. And that, like, some days I didn't even want to get up and walk and get out of bed. Like, some days it was too hard for me to even do that. Like, nobody knew. And just knowing the story that somebody died from this person that did this to me, and just having to deal with that stress on me. And then as I grew, and I just didn't want to be a transgender anymore, and I knew that I had this in my body, and it made me shapely, and it was like this was going to stop me from being able to give off the illusion of being a man. It just mentally just really messed me up mentally, just on being scared and on just feeling awkward and messed up and disformed in so many ways, because once your mind is not on that and in that lane no more, it all just feels so bad. So I literally was trying to find doctors, trying to, like, people was telling me $30,000 and so much money or whatever to have this stuff removed, and I really needed it to be removed. And it took me a while before I even got a chance to get it out. I'm gonna probably have to finish this story another time because it's very emotional, and I'm not really ready to talk about it. You know, I'm quite sure you seen my fave, K Michelle. I had to stop recording because that was a bit much for me. I just want to thank you for watching that and listening to my story or whatever. I hope that somebody out there hears this and stops. I know that it's not as popular as it once was, and I'm very very happy for that or whatever. And I just want you to be smart, see a real doctor, care about your body. You know what I'm saying? Take care of yourself. Stay prayed up. Follow your heart and follow who you are. If you need me, you can message me on Instagram. I'm Third Chance TV. Same Michael Lamont'e on Facebook. Um, Hit me up. I'm here for you. I can offer any kind of services that I can find for you. We can figure it out together. If you just want somebody to talk to or somebody to relate to, because I know it's people out like me out there. I know it is, and I know it's people that want to get to the point of where I'm at too. So, you know what I mean? Be proud of yourself and know that you got a friend in me.